"Fill it in," she demanded. "Return your backyard to its former glory of grass." I watched her storm off, then closed the door with a satisfied smirk. "Fill it in?" I scoffed, tossing the letter on the table. "Not a chance, Karen." It was a sweltering summer day. I mean, the kind of day where even your sweat is sweating. I'm sprawled out on my porch, fanning myself with a magazine and daydreaming about the one thing that could make this heat wave bearable: a pool. I'm picturing it now. Crystal clear water, shimmering in the sunlight. Me, lounging on a floaty, sipping a frosty beverage, not a care in the world. Ah, bliss. But then reality bites. Or rather, the HOA bites. Thwack goes the mailbox, and I already know what awaits me. It's like they have a sixth sense for when I'm about to achieve peak relaxation. I trudge out to the mailbox, and yep, there it is. The dreaded envelope. This time it's a notice banning pools. Aesthetic concerns, they say. Excessive water usage, they claim. Aesthetic concerns? I scoff, rolling my eyes. Are they serious? Have they seen Mr. Henderson's gnome collection? Now that's a true crime against aesthetics. We're talking a whole village of those creepy little guys, staring at you with their beady eyes. I can practically picture Karen, the HOA president, sitting in her air-conditioned living room, smugly sipping iced tea, surrounded by her gnome minions. No pools, she probably decrees, stroking a particularly grotesque gnome with a pointy red hat. They disrupt the delicate balance of beige and boredom that we strive for. Well, Karen, I've got news for you. This pool-loving rebel isn't about to let a little thing like a ban stop him. It's time to get creative. Okay, I'll admit it. At first, I was fuming. I mean, who do they think they are, telling me I can't have a pool? It's my backyard, for crying out loud. But then, as the anger subsided, a different feeling started to bubble up. It was a feeling of determination. And maybe a little bit of mischief. An idea took root. A crazy, audacious, utterly brilliant idea. If they won't let me have a pool, I declared, pacing back and forth like a caged tiger, then I'll just have to make my own. Now, I'm not talking about some inflatable kiddie pool here. No, sir. I'm talking about a real, in-ground, HOA-defying oasis. The kind of pool that would make Karen choke on her chamomile tea. But first, I needed a plan. A cunning, foolproof plan. So I did what any self-respecting rebel would do. I hit the books, or rather, the internet. I spent my evenings hunched over my laptop, scouring websites for pool regulations, building codes, and obscure environmental laws. I even stumbled upon a forum dedicated to HOA defiance, where I found a treasure trove of tips and tricks. My notebook quickly filled with sketches, diagrams, and calculations. My mind raced with possibilities. Would I go for a classic rectangular design? Or maybe a freeform shape with a waterfall? And what about a diving board? The more I researched, the more determined I became. This wasn't just about a pool anymore. It was about taking a stand. It was about proving that I wouldn't be bullied by a bunch of power-hungry HOA members. And let's be honest, it was also about sticking it to Karen. All right, time to put this plan into action. With my blueprints finalized and my tools gathered, I launched Operation Backyard Oasis. My weapon of choice, a trusty shovel, my disguise, a pair of old gardening gloves, and a whistle-while-you-work attitude. Under the cover of darkness, I transformed my backyard into a clandestine excavation site. The soft glow of the moon was my only companion as I plunged my shovel into the earth, each heave a small victory against the HOA's tyranny. The neighbors, bless their nosy hearts, couldn't help but peek through their curtains. "Just doing some late-night gardening," I'd call out with a cheerful wave, hoping they wouldn't notice the growing mountain of dirt in my yard. Days turned into nights, and my backyard slowly morphed into a full-blown construction zone. Dirt flew, Sweat dripped, and my muscles screamed in protest. But I pushed on, fueled by a potent cocktail of defiance and the dream of poolside margaritas. Of course, it wouldn't be an epic backyard adventure without a few obstacles. Tree roots, thicker than pythons, fought back against my shovel. Buried rocks, seemingly placed there by the HOA gods themselves, tested my patience. And let's not forget the occasional nosy squirrel who seemed determined to sabotage my every move. But I persevered. I dug, I sweated, I cursed the HOA under my breath. And slowly but surely, my dream pool started to take shape. All right, get ready for a twist. I'm digging away one morning, the sun beating down, sweat dripping into my eyes, when suddenly I hear it. A strange gurgling sound, like a giant's stomach rumbling. I pause, my shovel hovering in midair, then whoosh! A rush of warm water floods the hole, swirling around my feet. What the? I exclaim, jumping back in surprise. I stare in disbelief as the water level rises, steaming gently in the morning air. I cautiously dip my hand in, and my eyes widen. It's warm. My inner monologue goes into overdrive. This is incredible. I've struck a hot spring. This is even better than a pool. It's a natural spa. Take that, HOA. I can practically hear Karen's shriek of frustration from across the street. This is not over, she'd probably yell, shaking her fist at the sky. I will not be defeated by a hot spring. But I'm not listening. I'm too busy envisioning myself soaking in the warm water, surrounded by lush greenery, a smug grin on my face. This is beyond my wildest dreams. It's like the universe itself decided to take my side in this epic battle against the HOA. Forget the pool. This is way better. This is destiny. Okay, so, new plan. Who needs a regular old pool when you've got a bubbling hot spring in your backyard? It's like Mother Nature herself decided to give the HOA the middle finger. And trust me, I wasn't about to look a gift horse, or, a gift hot spring, in the mouth. I scrapped my original pool plans and embraced the unexpected. It was time to turn my backyard into a natural oasis, a haven of relaxation and HOA defiance. Think lush greenery, soothing sounds, and maybe a strategically placed gnome or two. For irony, of course. First things first, landscaping. I wanted to create a tropical paradise, a little slice of Bali right in my own backyard. I hit up the local nursery and loaded up on exotic plants. We're talking ferns, palms, bamboo, the whole 9 yards. I even splurged on a few orchids, because why not? Next up, privacy. I didn't need nosy neighbors peeking in on my hot spring escapades, so I erected bamboo screens around the perimeter, creating a secluded sanctuary. It was like my own private spa, hidden away from the prying eyes of the HOA. And for the finishing touch, ambiance. I strung up fairy lights, hung lanterns from the trees, and added a few strategically placed tiki torches. At night, the whole place glowed with a warm, inviting light. It was like something out of a travel magazine, but with, less ridiculously priced cocktails. I christened it my naturally occurring thermal pool, a name that was both technically accurate and delightfully smug. It was a haven of relaxation, a sanctuary from the HOA's tyranny, and a constant reminder that sometimes the best things in life are unexpected. And you know what the best part was? It was completely legal. Mother Nature, it seemed, was on my side. The HOA could ban all the man-made pools they wanted, but they couldn't touch my naturally occurring hot spring. Take that, Karen! Okay, you know what they say. Where there's a hot spring, there's a way for the HOA to try and ruin it. And wouldn't you know it, those vultures caught wind of my little oasis. It all started with a knock on the door. I opened it to find Karen, our HOA queen bee, standing there with a face like a thundercloud. I knew it! She practically shrieked, pointing a manicured finger at my backyard. You've been digging. And what is that steaming monstrosity. I tried to play it cool. Oh, this? I said, gesturing casually towards my hot spring paradise. It's just a naturally occurring thermal pool. You know, a gift from Mother Nature. Karen's eye twitched. Naturally occurring? She sputtered. That's absurd. You clearly excavated this abomination. I shrugged. Well, I did do some digging, I admitted. But the hot spring itself, totally natural. It's like finding a diamond in your backyard. You can't take credit for it, but you sure can enjoy it. Karen's face turned an interesting shade of purple. Enjoy it, she screeched. This is a clear violation of HOA regulations. You can't just have a steaming pond in your backyard. Actually, I said, pulling out a conveniently printed copy of the HOA rulebook. There's nothing in here about naturally occurring hot springs. Seems like a bit of an oversight, don't you think? Karen sputtered some more, but I could tell she was losing steam, pun intended. She huffed, she puffed, and then she slapped a cease and desist letter into my hand. Fill it in, she demanded. Return your backyard to its former glory of grass. I watched her storm off, then closed the door with a satisfied smirk. Fill it in? I scoffed, tossing the letter on the table. Not a chance, Karen. But hey, I'm not one to ignore legal documents, mostly, so I did what any reasonable person in my situation would do. I wrote a polite but firm response, citing my rights to utilize naturally occurring resources on my property. I even threw in a few quotes from obscure environmental laws, just for good measure. And then, just for kicks, I hired an environmental lawyer. You know, just in case Karen decided to escalate things. It's always good to have a legal eagle on your side, especially when you're dealing with an HOA that's as stubborn as a mule with a head cold. Bring on the legal battle, Karen. I'm ready for round 2. All right, buckle up, because things are about to get legal. See, I wasn't just messing around with that naturally occurring bit. I'd done my homework, folks. And by homework, I mean some serious deep dives into the murky depths of environmental law. Turns out, there's this obscure clause about protecting naturally occurring hot springs, something about preserving natural resources and promoting ecotourism. Bingo! I knew I'd struck gold, and I'm not just talking about the geothermal kind. With the fervor of a lawyer on a caffeine high, I whipped up an application to have my hot spring officially recognized as a protected local landmark. I filled it out with meticulous detail, highlighting the ecological significance of my backyard oasis. Okay, maybe I embellished a bit, but hey, it's for a good cause. I even included a few photos of adorable squirrels frolicking near the steaming water, just for good measure. Then, I hit submit and waited. And waited. And waited some more. Finally, the glorious day arrived. An email landed in my inbox with the subject line, "Congratulations." I practically ripped my laptop in half trying to open it. My hot spring, my beloved oasis of defiance, had been officially designated a protected local landmark. The city council, it seemed, was eager to promote ecotourism and saw my backyard as a golden opportunity. Pun intended again. I imagined the scene at the HOA meeting when Karen broke the news. The city council, she'd stammer, her face pale. They approved it. They called it a unique geothermal gem and a testament to the harmonious coexistence of nature and suburban living. Cue the dramatic fainting couch moment. The HOA was flabbergasted. Their attempts to shut down my pool had backfired spectacularly. Not only was my hot spring here to stay, but it was now a celebrated local landmark. And guess who was responsible for maintaining it? That's right, the HOA. Karma, it seems, is best served bubbling hot. Okay, so remember that obscure clause about ecotourism? Well, the city took it and ran with it. They saw the potential of my little hot spring and decided to go all out. Construction crews descended upon my backyard. transforming it into a legitimate community attraction. They built changing rooms, complete with showers and lockers. They installed a charming little snack bar, serving up healthy snacks and refreshing drinks. They even added a paved walkway and some benches for those who wanted to simply relax and enjoy the ambiance. And the best part? The HOA was footing the bill. After all, it was their responsibility to maintain this protected local landmark. I could practically hear Karen's teeth grinding from across the street. The grand opening was a huge success. People flocked from all over to experience the Hidden Gem Hot Spring, as it was now officially called. There were families with kids splashing around, couples enjoying a romantic soak, and even a group of senior citizens doing water aerobics. It was quite a sight. The snack bar was doing a brisk business, selling out of smoothies and veggie wraps. And the HOA? Well, they were busy cleaning up towels, emptying trash cans, and generally trying to keep up with the influx of visitors. As for me, I was living the dream. I had my own personal spa, steps away from my back door. I spent my days soaking in the warm water, reading books, and occasionally sipping a mimosa, because, hey, I deserved it. The sweet taste of victory mingled with the warm, soothing water, creating a truly blissful experience. I had not only defied the HOA, but I had also created something amazing for the community. And all it took was a little digging, a lot of determination, and a healthy dose of luck. So, next time your HOA tries to tell you what you can and can't do in your own backyard, remember my story. Remember the hot spring that brought down an empire of beige. And remember, sometimes, the best way to fight the rules is to break them with style.